Hey everybody, and welcome to another episode here at Tribal Trades, the daily show. And this morning I have an urgent market update for both stocks and crypto, some must-see charts and data. Before we do that, let's smash the like button. This does help get this channel out to more people, and of course does help support the channel. And if you're new, welcome. Smash that subscribe button, hit that bell notification, and you'll get the daily updates. First of all, let's look at a data here, and then we're going to look at some charts. So first and foremost here, global M2, which is the money supply, global money just went absolutely vertical, but Bitcoin didn't go with it. Will it catch up? And here's the issue. This is the furthest that has been away from this money supply for some time. Now, some people see that as bullish, like, oh yeah, we're going to catch up and Bitcoin go to 250,000. And maybe that's your view as well. And maybe that's a view that could end up turning out to be correct at some point in the future. However, I do see this as a little bearish, that the money supply has increased, but it's not been going into Bitcoin. You can see how closely it has been tracking the money supply and following the money supply, and right now it just isn't at the moment. The other thing I do want to point to as well is the Dow Jones to gold ratio is about to cross a level only seen 4 times in history: 2008, 1973, and 1929. Okay, and so of course this is a bearish scenario there with that. Hasn't crossed that line yet, but if it crosses that line, this could be seen as something a little bearish. Now, I don't want people to live in fear. I don't want to live in fear. I don't live in fear. I want to live prepared. I want to live educated, okay? So that's just really, I want to make people aware of this and to be prepared for this, that there is some kind of further drop on the S&P 500 or in Bitcoin, that people are prepared to either buy the dip, short the market to the downside, of course, and have stop losses on the position to avoid any kind of downside situation that would be unpleasant. Okay, so it's just about education and entertainment, because I'm not a financial advisor. This is not financial advice. This is for education and entertainment purposes only. Are you not entertained? Okay, and so we shouldn't live in fear. We should live prepared. Okay? And of course, we have the PCE data coming out at 8:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. Now, if those numbers come in hotter than expected, then I think the market may react negatively to that, because then there will be questions as to whether there will be another rate cut or not. Now, we don't have job numbers that's coming. September numbers come out in October, or the CPI that comes out in October. So we'll have to wait a number of weeks before we get that data. And if, of course, if job numbers come in weak, if CPI comes in cooler, then the sentiment will shift again. However, if those PCE numbers come in, then possibly the market doesn't react kindly to that, and I do think we'll see some more downside. Now, if the numbers come in as expected or cooler than expected, I would expect the market to rally. And so you've got to be positioned there with a buy or a sell button, ready to go buy, sell, because that's literally what I'm going to be doing. And we're going to look at some of this data right now. And we'll start off with the SPY, and then we'll go over to Bitcoin and crypto. So the SPY here, as we can see, we lost the 9 EMA on the daily time frame there. We haven't done that a whole lot since this entire move up, only a couple of times, and each time we were supported by the 20 EMA on the daily. Yes, there were a couple of daily closes below that, but only for one day, and then it rallied immediately. Okay, we haven't even had very much an indecision doji candle there. The market is undecided, and of course it's going to be undecided because the PCE comes out and we're going to get some kind of a candle either to the downside or to the upside, purely based on PCE, in my opinion. So I did share in the Tribal Trades Discord, one Discord to rule them all. On the SPY, there was bearish divergence. This was 2 days ago in the morning. I shared this, that the bearish divergence on the daily time frame was there. Later on in the day, I spotted a bear flag on the hourly there with the bearish divergence on the daily, and the technical target was 56 on that, and that's exactly what we saw it come down to, actually 655, just a little bit below. And if you look on the hourly time frame, you'll see clearly that bear flag there that was in play. In fact, we had a couple of them, one here played out, then there's another bear flag, there's the pole, there's the flag, there's the technical target to the downside there. So we're not really going to, even if we do lose the 20 EMA on the daily and we close below it, if those numbers come in too hot, then we'll have to wait till next week to see whether we get multiple day closes, which hasn't happened since we crossed the 20 EMA way back, I believe it was in April there. And if we remember last week, I did also give a warning that the week after the quad witching, and I did the quad witching video, for those of you who didn't watch it, you should have been warned that the week after quad witching was historically bearish, okay? And that is exactly what has played out again. So let's jump over to Bitcoin, and just lost the 20 EMA on the weekly time frame. That's bearish, folks, because that brings into play almost the head and shoulders pattern there. There's the head, there's the head, left shoulder, right shoulder. We are very close to losing that neckline. The technical target to the downside is about 90,000. The problem with that is that historically, this line here, the 50-week moving average, has been bull market support. That's our bull market support line. So historically, look what happened here. We came so close to it here. Now, when we get a candle that closes, and it didn't, it wicked below, a candle that closes below and then opens and closes below, that's generally been the end. It's over. The bull run is done, and we're going to see some more downside. And I'll tell you exactly what happens historically is, number one, a close below is scary, but okay, as long as the next candle opens, shoots back up and opens, and that week following, and then we can see some more upside. However, a close below and an open and close below, eventually actually what happens is we do get it does actually rebust over, and that's what fools people out. It's a fake out or a dead cat bounce, and it hits usually the 200-day moving average, and then it rejects for a final capitulation to the downside. That is what historically has happened with Bitcoin. Now, we're not there at the moment. However, we do lose this trend line here, sitting currently at about 107. And you could say, look, we could make the 200-day, 200 EMA on the daily also could be that line in the sand there. But at the moment, we are on the hourly a bear flag. And show you that bear flag. We saw that on the SPY, and we saw how that played out. There is the bear flag there. There is the flag. There is the flag pole. I'll give you this technical target here for that. This takes us bang smack down to the 200 EMA on the daily. So I do believe that if this bear flag plays out and we do get down to the 106, 100, now we're now in the position where the inverse head and shoulders is now validated, and it can become invalidated. You can have a flush, you can have a fake out. Of course, if PCE numbers come in cooler than expected, this might be the bottom. We may rally from here. We may put a stop here and validate this, because I do want to give both sides of the story here, invalidate this head and shoulders pattern here. Remember, we do have another inverse head and shoulders pattern that was playing out and is coming back. It's not invalidated yet, okay? But of course, if this one plays out, this one will be invalidated, and it just turned out to be a bit of a fake out. So we've got to see which head and shoulders plays out. This inverse head and shoulders, will there be a pullback and continuation, or will this head and shoulders play to the downside? That's what's at stake at the moment. And remember, October historically has been bullish for Bitcoin. Look, some people have said this is the end. And if the end is, then the top was in August. We have this up down in September. We have a dead cat bounce in October where it gets back up. It doesn't quite make a new all-time high, or comes very close before a final capitulation. Or, of course, the top wasn't in August, and we put a new top in somewhere in October, November, and December. And those who believe there's a super cycle and we'll just keep making new all-time highs as we go. Those are your three options. You pick one and tell me what you think is going to play out there. Let's have a look at total two, and this looks incredibly bearish, unfortunately. We have this double top that I pointed out. We've now lost the 9 and the 20, and the 9 is below the 20. We have tribal trades indicator gave us 2 warnings here. One, and there was a little bit of a pullback, and then the second warning to the downside there. And I believe we're going to see that on the weekly time frame, the sign to get out of altcoins. This has been very accurate. There it was there, red dot down to the downside. We had another one. Look, sometimes this one was a short one. It only went down for a few weeks and then popped up. So it just really depends, is this red dot going to be a deeper correction to the downside, or is it going to be more like the one in June that really just gave us a buying opportunity? And this is really what we have to discover. I think the 20 EMA on the weekly is going to tell us that story. If we lose that level, then like we've seen with Bitcoin has just lost that level, and that's a little bit scary over on Bitcoin, and it can reclaim it. It's pretty close to it. That level's at 109,557, current price 108,750. So it can reclaim that by the end of the week. But if we start to close under there and continue down, then we'll see the 9 looking to cross the 20, and that's ultra bearish. Don't want to be around for crypto if that happens. This one here again down to the 20 EMA, which is at 1.43 trillion. We should put a line there. There you go. Bang. Let's put that in. And that's our line in the sand, really. If we do lose that level there, that would be quite bearish. And I think that this would be a whole lot deeper. And I do want to show you the USDT dominance. This is a very, very important chart. There we have inverse head and shoulders pattern there. We have a W double bottom there as well. And the first target there is to 5.26. That would be some sell-off into USDT. And then our next target here is 5.76. And then there would be an even worse target because we would be in a bigger reverse head and shoulders WW bottom pattern that would play out. I would give you that target here. And this is a long way away, by the way. This level here now is at 5.78. I'll show you how these technical targets get made. We would come from here. We would come up to here. And that would be would push us, I think, into a pretty bad state for both Bitcoin and crypto. So we'll see what happens. You can see on the daily the same thing. So that's the weekly time frame. The daily time frame is what we're in the moment. There you can see the left shoulder, the head, the right shoulder. And then if this does break the neckline, which in my opinion it has already, however, you can see fake out sometimes. But this 200-day moving average, a break and hold above here, and we're going to see some further downside and some further pain, okay? And I know this might not be what you want to see, but you can learn to short in the Tribal Trades Discord and make money on the way down. I do several leverage classes every month, and I have a whole suite of 6, 7, 8 leverage videos so you can learn to short and make money on the way down. Some people make more money on the way down in the bear market than going up in the bull run there. You do want you to be aware, there's the inverse head and shoulders. It is valid at the moment, and it is running. And if we continue to see it run, then it will run to 5.27, and that would be very, very bearish. And I have been warning so many people, super cycle and all this stuff, and it may be the case, but what if it's not? Are you prepared if it's not the super cycle, if the top was in August? Are you going to be bag holding yet again for another cycle? This is where the Tribal Trades indicator, look, when it went green, that was the time to get out of altcoins, get out of Bitcoin. Same with the SPY. When we saw the SPY on the daily, that was the time to start thinking a little bit more bearish, although again, PCE data could change all of this. It could change all of this. Because if PCE data comes in as expected or cooler, we may see that momentum shift that we need. If you would like to join the Tribal Trades Discord, you can do so by clicking on the link below in the description of this video. It will add you to a wait list, but good news for the month of September, and this is ending in just a few days, like 4 days you have to get on the wait list. If you get on the wait list, then I will continue to add one person per day until that wait list is exhausted, even if it means going into October. And so that does get you earlier access because I won't be opening up the Discord until later this year. It will be shut again at the end of September. So if you want to get on the wait list, now is the time to get on the wait list. And I am adding at least one person, sometimes more, but at least one person to the Tribal Trades Discord each day there through the month of September. And September 30th will be your last day to get on the wait list. And remember, the Tribal Trades Discord is a closed trading community, okay? We are not open. And so it's exclusive, and you have to get on the wait list and wait your turn to get an opportunity to get in the Tribal Trades Discord, which again gives you that Tribal Trades indicator that comes with the price of the Discord, and it is not locked in. We don't do lock-ins, no pressure. And it's month to month, so at any time you can cancel if it's not for you, and we wish you all the best, okay? So we have got some exciting developments coming. I'm telling you, it's going to be incredible. Some new things and additions we're adding to the Discord, going to be really, really amazing. I can't wait to share those with you as soon as they're available. All right, that's all I have time for today. So until the next episode, until I see you on the Discord, happy trading.